All right, Saagar, what are you looking at for your breaking points?
I generally stay away from the culture war here on Breaking Points. Why? Because I generally believe most of it is used cynically by the ruling class as a distraction from what they are doing on a daily basis. You don't care about tax rates, income gaps, good jobs, and more when you're outraged over whether somebody refused to address somebody else on Twitter that you've never even met by the wrong pronoun, or if you're frantically checking Dr. Seuss sales number on Amazon to own the libs. But for today, the reason I'm diving in is because this concerns an institution with massive power over American life and is one of the rare instances where a culture war has real and dire consequences, not just for our citizens here at home, but for the millions of people across the world who at one point or another could have or have come into contact with the United States military. All of this starts off with General Mark Milley. He's the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He's defending the teaching of critical race theory in the military.
And it is important that we train and we understand, and I want to understand white rage, and I'm white, and I want to understand it. So what is it that caused thousands of people to assault this building and try to overturn the Constitution of the United States of America? What caused that? I want to find that out. I want to maintain an open mind here, and I do want to analyze it. It's important that we understand that.
Okay, there's a lot going on there. Before we start off, of course, I too would like to understand why people stormed the Capitol. There's just one problem. How is it that the general and all of these woke liberals think that white rage is the only cause? The explanation is actually pretty simple. Trump is a charlatan demagogue who made some stuff up. Enough people believed him, so they were willing to storm the Capitol. Now, if you want to really go down the rabbit hole, the question is this: why did millions of people disregard good information otherwise from every major institution in American life and believe only a dude with a fake tan who, all things considered, was a mediocre to terrible president? That is a question actually worth delving into deeply. White rage may be part of the story, but I don't think it's a very big part of the story. You know what is? The war in Iraq, the war in Afghanistan, the fact that we squandered the lives of our own citizens abroad with $6 trillion, not to mention the nearly 1 million Iraqis who died there. Not to mention the failure of the entire American general class while there. And of course, there's more. How about the division of class lines in America? How about a total commitment to globalization and fake free trade, mass immigration? I can go on and on. If the general really wants to understand, as this show does, then there's a lot that he could learn. But of course, he's not actually interested in that. It's a surprise that the people who are the most powerful in America are obsessed with jargon and woke politics. All Milley has to do is say white rage, and he became a liberal hero, even more so after Tucker Carlson attacked him. Now look, personally, I wouldn't say what Tucker did, but I'll admit, I laughed. But what made me laugh more was this: the outrage by the liberal intelligentsia, which followed Tucker's comments calling Milley a stupid pig. Now, Glenn Greenwald has always had the perfect eye, noting that American liberalism today looks like this in the mainstream. You have NBC News analyst, retired 4-star general Barry McCaffrey, calling for Tucker to be fired for disrespecting the head of the military. You have Jeet Heer of The Nation blasting the GOP for not having insufficient reverence for our troops. And you have Bill Kristol tweeting out his piece approvingly. That's right. The reaction to the comments have been completely unhinged. And you know what? That's dangerous. I can tell you that firsthand. I was disciplined by my teachers in the mid-2000s and generally despised by a lot of people in my hometown of College Station, Texas, because I spoke out against the Iraq War. And I was told and dismissed for being disrespectful of the military when pointing out basic things like, hey, you know Osama bin Laden had nothing to do with the war in Iraq, right? That alone was considered disrespectful or treasonous. Civilian control of the US military is actually the most bedrock and sacrosanct thing that we have in this country. And because of the culture war, we now have the most powerful people in the media allying themselves with the military, who have allied themselves with woke ideology because they know it covers up any questions about their own conduct. If you want the perfect example of this with regards to General Milley himself, he's the genius who blew up at Biden's national security team in the Situation Room when they said they wanted to leave Afghanistan because he said America would be sacrificing women's rights in that country. Now, he literally did the Afghan girls meme, but in real life, and he was serious about it. If General Milley wants to sacrifice American lives to protect women's rights in Afghanistan, he is welcome to run for president on that platform. And I would personally relish watching him fall flat on his face. woke politics is a smokescreen that people like Milley and the Wall Street bankers with pride flags and BLM stickers use to cover up for the fact they're actually the ones behind the most destructive forces in American life today. And if you want, as I do, to understand what happened on January 6th, don't start with critical race theory. Start with General Milley. Start with the generals who lost us 2 wars in our lifetime. Start with bankers who are bankrolling and teaching a lot of this nonsense. Start with the think tank class who are happy to talk diversity in the military as long as it doesn't mean having anybody around who thinks we should get out of Afghanistan. In other words, start with the place where power actually resides in America. And Crystal, I thought it was important.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching.
That's right. Just as a reminder, you can become a premium subscriber today. Watch the full show completely uncut, our reactions to each other's monologues. You get to listen to it. You get to ask us questions, all that good stuff. Link is right there in the description or at breakingpoints.com.
Best of all, great way to say screw you to the mainstream media.